I only really got into my passion and my purpose when I became sober curious. Everything in my life changed. It was the most positive thing I've ever done. Welcome back to another episode of Self Dom. I'm Dom, your host, and I'm so excited for today's episode. It's a solo with me, and I'm going to be chatting all about my decision to go sober for 2025. After my first solo episode of the year where I touched on it, so many of you messaged me saying you were on the same journey, you're sober curious, you want to reduce your alcohol. And yeah, it just really warmed my heart to firstly know I'm not alone, to secondly know so many people are prioritizing their health, and thirdly, to feel that community where people are coming to me and wanting that support and asking me to build a network of people who aren't drinking so we can hold each other accountable. So I feel very blessed to be able to facilitate this for a lot of people and hopefully to inspire you to maybe consider how much you drink in 2025. A little life update before I dive into this episode is I have launched the Valentine's Day edition of the Gratitude Journal. Oh my God, it is so cute. It was my favorite shoot to date. It was just one of those shoots that fell so seamlessly. I felt so creative, so inspired, and I am so excited to be sharing this really girly little journal that you guys can get. It is the perfect Galentine's gift, the perfect gift for yourself as a self-love. And I just think it's super aesthetic, especially if you're like me and adore pink. So that is for sale now. It is a limited stock. And yeah, I'm just excited for you guys to get your hands on them. They're so freaking pretty. At the time this is being recorded, the next Self Dom mini retreat will be out, which is super exciting. We are doing it in the Hawkesbury. We have an amazing 4-hour day planned. Hopefully, there's still tickets available at the time this episode releases, but the retreats sell out within 2 days. It is crazy. But yeah, I am super excited. I've been working with my friend Zara. Shout out to Zara. She comes on Walk Club and we connected. And we'll be working with Ashaya Rituals to bring you a full morning all about cleansing, which is just perfect for this time of year. So if you haven't got a ticket and there's any left, make sure you jump on them. And if you did miss out, put my notifications on so you never miss a event. And I also always post them in the broadcast channel. So on my Dominique Elisa page, I have a broadcast channel. Make sure you're there. I send podcast recommendations, my favorite recipes, little quotes, and I always give early access to events. So let's dive into this topic, going sober. I used to think the word sober meant you were an addict, firstly. And I remember when I had Elle Ferguson on the podcast, who's been sober for many years, when I asked her the question about sobriety, she said she doesn't even think about that word because of those connotations and certain assumptions that come with it. And that really made sense for me. I know a lot of people who do a month alcohol free, but the day before they do that month, they literally slam themselves or have a bender and have a huge night. But for me, this progression into sobriety, it just kind of happened naturally where I haven't had a drink for over 3 months now. And then the new year came and I thought, this is a really good goal to set. Let's do 2025 sober. So yeah, it's just been a really natural progression for me. The last drink I had was in New York, and as much fun as I had, it flared up my skin instantly. I'll put some footage up so you can see. It irritated my gut, it irritated my sleep, and for me personally and on my wellness journey, it doesn't serve me right now. And that's not to say I will never drink alcohol again, because I think it has its place. Tom and I recently went to Mimi's, which is such a beautiful restaurant in Coogee. And I don't think I've ever been there sober, because they literally go around with vodka shots and caviar bumps. It's such a scene, it's such a vibe. But Tom is also doing Sober 2025, which will help for the journey as well. But we sat there and we had mocktails, but I was looking around and I saw people drinking and I was like, I see why it's so fun. I understand it. And I'm not saying I'm never going to drink again. I just wanted to challenge myself. And to just put a point on this, Tom and I at Mimi's, they have the best service. Like, I was having non-alcoholic wine. There's a brand called Non that I love. There's like a chamomile raspberry one. And some of them do have black tea in them, which can give you a boost of energy. But I'm so caffeine sensitive. I'm on the chamomile. And they give you a beautiful glass. They pour it for you. They let you try it before you commit to the glass. You feel seen. You feel heard. So I definitely think there's a big change happening where people are embracing mocktails. Non-alcoholic beers are huge. I would love to know the specific markups on non-alcoholic drinks because yeah, I just think it's growing. Even on Friday nights, Tom and I pour our kombucha in our favorite wine glasses and we just feel a little bit fancy. So yeah, if you're on the journey, put the effort into making it fun. Don't always have to have soda water and lime because I know it doesn't feel special. Like, get the mocktail, get the non-alcoholic wine, get the non-alcoholic beer. Cheers with your friends. It's so good to celebrate. And one of the things I noticed is when I was sober curious, I was isolating myself because I didn't want to drink. And I feel like now, because I've made the decision I'm not drinking, there's no pressure, there's no expectation. I feel like I'm going to go to more raves than ever because I don't want to miss out. I don't want to not live life. I love music. I love dancing. So I'm just going to do it sober and see how I go. And yeah, would love to hear from all of you who are on this journey of reducing your alcohol or going sober. My DMs are always open for you. So yeah, I thought I would talk about 5 reasons that I've decided to go sober. And I'm going to start with the first one, which is getting my dopamine baseline back to normal. There was a recent podcast on the Diary of a CEO all about dopamine, and you should absolutely go listen to it. So if you don't know what dopamine is, it is the feel-good chemical that helps you feel motivated and enhances your overall well-being. So I was listening to the Huberman Lab podcast recently, and he says, without question, the level of dopamine is the primary determinant of how motivated we are, excited we are, how outward facing we are, and how willing we are to lean into life and pursue things. So that high dopamine is when you're feeling excited, motivated, ready to take on the day. We all want dopamine, right? So then let's talk about the dopamine baseline. So Google says that the dopamine baseline is the level of dopamine that circulates your body at all times. It's influenced by many factors, including genetics, behaviors, sleep, and nutrition. So by understanding these factors, if any of these are out of whack, they're going to impact the baseline. So I think about those nights you have a bad sleep. So sleep directly impacts your dopamine. The next day you're grumpy, you're irritable. The same lies when you drink alcohol. It rises your dopamine and then you end up feeling hungover the next day, unmotivated. So I want us to just think about our own dopamine baseline. When you're just living your day-to-day life, do you feel inspired? Do you feel motivated? Do you feel like you're chasing your purpose? Or do you feel a little bit flat? You feel like maybe you need enhancers to have a good time. So every time we hinder that baseline, it's harder to reach that balanced baseline again. So let's go back to the drinking example. When you drink, you get a dopamine rush. So picture a graph. Your dopamine's rising and then you get hungover. So it drops below the baseline. So it's going to take time for you to get back to that baseline. And when you're below baseline, that's when you might feel that unmotivated or you might feel tired and groggy and you feel like you need dopamine hits like caffeine or alcohol to get back to your baseline. So the more time you do activities that hinder the baseline and go under it with these highs and lows, your baseline drops. So your new norm of happiness and motivation continues to decline. And that's one thing I noticed when I went sober curious, is that by not having these uppers, I felt ecstatic about everything. Like, I'm that girlfriend who goes to dinner. I love this place. The food's amazing. It's that sense of gratitude that really just flows through you when your dopamine baseline is at a healthy level. The things that increase my dopamine now are jumping in the ocean, good laughs with friends, playing cards with Tom, like such simple things, because I'm not having these crazy highs and crazy lows anymore. We need to kind of stop having such big fluctuations because it hinders the baseline. So I wanted to chat also a little bit about ice baths. They're having a real moment at the moment. And one of the main reasons they're having a moment is they boost your dopamine level the same amount as taking cocaine. Crazy, right? The difference is with an ice bath is you have to go through struggle. You have to get in freezing cold water before you get the dopamine hit. Whilst when you have a line of cocaine, you get it straight away without putting in the work. For this reason, when you have an ice bath, it lasts for 3 hours, that dopamine kick, whilst a line of cocaine only lasts for a short period, which means you chase it again and again. And this is what can lead to addiction. So if you're craving these big hits of dopamine to feel alive, get in an ice bath, have a sauna. There's so many ways to get a similar kick whilst contributing to your health. So back to the no alcohol thing, reducing the alcohol has really helped my baseline. I feel so much happier. It is crazy. I remember always going out dancing, and as soon as I'd be out, just thinking about, okay, when are we having shots? When are we drinking? And now I'm out and I'm like, this music is amazing. I'm here with my friends. The sun is setting. Those sort of people light up the room. They're the sort of people I want to hang out with as well. Not the ones who are chasing things, the ones who are just so present. So I hope this inspires you to think about your decisions, because I know it can be hard now to take away alcohol or other dopamine boosting substances. But in the long run, you're going to be at this happiness that is just leveled. You're going to be less irritable, and people want to hang around people like that. So my second reason for quitting alcohol is my skin and my gut. So I've been on a gut healing journey my entire life. Like, I've just never had a good gut. And then my skin flared up post pill. And I was really working hard at healing it pre New York. And then I went to New York, and as soon as I had drinks, my skin went blah! And as I said, I'll put some videos up. And yeah, I just at first was devastated about it, but the more inner awareness I have, I know that my skin's telling me something, and it's on my face so that I can't ignore it. And the more I've thought about it, I wouldn't have had to change anything I did in New York. I could have gone out partying, spent time with the girls, literally done everything sober. It doesn't mean you don't need to do anything if you don't drink. And yeah, I just would have felt so much better in my gut and my skin. Like, it was havoc. And then the effort it takes afterwards to clear it and cleanse it. It's like you go 3 steps forward and then 5 steps back when it comes to your skin. This is my personal journey and my personal experience. A lot of the time as well, if you're someone who is struggling with the awareness and you just feel like you're going through life, is that meditation and journaling practice. Oh my God. My nighttime ritual in the journal is when I get home and I didn't drink, I'm so grateful I didn't drink, and I'm so proud of myself. Like, I'm elated. And then in the morning when I do my gratitude, I'm not hungover. And that's a constant reminder of what is serving my higher self. And yeah, the journaling really helps. And meditation is also really important, because you're going inwards and you're understanding your truest self, your most authentic self. Otherwise, we distract ourselves and we never really listen to that voice inside of us that knows best. It's still January. It's not too late to make some changes. So I hope this awareness piece is going to help you introduce meditation, introduce journaling, whatever it might be, to just help you get more in tune with what aligns with you. My third reason is the awareness of knowing who my friends are. Wow. So, one of the things on my vision boards under relationships was I prefer hanging out with people in small groups. I much prefer having a DNM with my closest than being out with a really big group and just kind of having surface level conversations. And I'm actually such a social bird. Like, I love going out, but I definitely prefer small group settings. And I found that not drinking made me aware of the people who did want to have those deep conversations, did want to talk about growth. And yeah, I just feel really close to my inner circle since I've stopped drinking, because the ones who've supported me are the ones who've stood by me. And it can be really hard to let go of people, absolutely. But yeah, I just feel really happy with where I am with my friendships, and that's helping me to keep going as well. My entire 20s was all about networking, being friends with as many people as possible. And what came with that was the going out culture, which I am really happy I did. But I do think about the mornings I would wake up and just regret it. But I didn't change my actions. But I just know that feeling in my soul. I know what it feels like to wake up the next morning and be like, what did I say to that person? You're in the shower and you hit your head. What did I do? What did I say? So being so fresh in 2025, remembering my conversations with my best friends, the best thing ever. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. We all know that quote that people come into our life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. So this period in my life is truly working out who those people are and what category they fit in. I will preface, it hasn't been that easy, and sometimes my inner voice is like, you're not cool, or you're not fitting in. But that meditation and that journaling, again, has just allowed me to remember my most authentic self and not listening to the inner critic. We have 9 negative thoughts for every positive thought. It is natural as human beings. So just being aware of it and letting it go has been the best thing ever. And it's really helping me on this journey. My fourth one is productivity has gone through the roof. If I was to draw a graph of my productivity since I stopped drinking, it would be a linear line up. Wow. It's like a superpower. I had Alfie Robertson on the podcast and he said not drinking is a superpower. Wow, it is really true. Feeling fresh on the Sunday is only half of it, because I found when I drink, it's more than just a day of a hangover. It's like multiple days, bad sleep, maybe bad food choices. It's really been a superpower in creating a community, creating a business, doing the podcast. I have found so much purpose. I'm obsessed with what I do that I want to do it all the time, and I don't want to waste a second being hungover. If you're someone listening to this and you maybe feel a lack of motivation or no purpose, I would commit to a month of not drinking, because this is when you find that awareness. And that's the word of this episode. I know I keep saying it, but those moments of stillness, that's really when you find your passion and your purpose. I only really got into my passion and my purpose when I became sober curious. Everything in my life changed. It was the most positive thing I've ever done for everything: my physical health, my mental health, my spiritual health, my emotional health. I'm so much more regulated. So yeah, definitely productivity has been a huge bonus. The final reason I've gone sober for 2025 is, wow, I'm saving so much money. So say you spend $200 a week on alcohol, cocktails, wine, whatever it is. Times that by 52, times that by 5 years. Let's say you've been drinking that much for 5 years. That's $52,000. I would rather book a business flight seat to Europe and have my dream holiday for 3 months with $52,000. So yeah, that was a really big eye opener, and my expenses have gone up quite a lot since moving, creating the business, and yeah, it's just really encouraging to know how much money I'm saving not drinking alcohol. So those are my 5 reasons I have stopped drinking alcohol in 2025. I am the first one to put my hand up and say drinking is absolutely a fun time. It is a great way to celebrate. That's why I'm not saying I'm never drinking again. If you've listened to the entire episode and you're feeling inspired, or maybe you're someone who drinks and doesn't want to give it up, good on you for listening to this, because it's going to help bring that awareness to you. If anyone who's on the sober journey with me, let's do it together. I'm proud of you. We've got this. Amazing things are going to happen for us. Again, if you love this episode, share it on your story. It means so much to me. Maybe share it with a friend who you want to try inspire to drink less. And yeah, I hope you're all having an amazing January, and I can't wait to meet some of you at our event in February.